This is the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo.
Hello and welcome to the Debrief live on the Blood Red channel after Liverpool secured their place at the top of the Premier League table for Christmas Day with a 7-0 win at Crystal Palace. Goals from Takumi Minamino, Sadio Mane and then Roberto Firmino in the first half put Liverpool 3 goals ahead. The first time in just over 3 years that Liverpool have scored 3 in the first half of a Premier League away from home. That put Jurgen Klopp's men in control, and then in the second half they added another 4 goals. Liverpool have never won by a 7-goal margin away from home before in the top flight. Joining me to talk through all of the goals and all of the talking points is once again Theo Squires. Theo, after a big win midweek, we wondered just how fresh Liverpool might be for today's game, but I think they pretty emphatically answered any questions there.
Wow, just wow. Who saw that coming? Obviously, eyebrows raised, I think, when the team news dropped. Mohamed Salah not in the starting 11. And no one expected the response to be quite so emphatic. But it's one of those where everything that could go right for Liverpool did. For so long this season, we've had these games where, it's another injury or there's been a mistake or something, not had a clean sheet. But this was just perfect for them. Everything that you want to happen in a game, for your dream game, happened. Minamino getting his first Premier League goal. Roberto Firmino showing it wasn't just a one-off, getting the winner against Tottenham. Both superb finishes from him. Sadio Mane ending his goal drought. And then Mohamed Salah showing that it doesn't matter how long he plays, he will still punish you, whether he's a late substitute or he starts from the off. It just shows the strength and depth Liverpool have got. And to put 7 past Crystal Palace, I believe that's like the record Premier League win as well. I'm sure there'll be so many more of these stats that will merge in the break from this. But yeah, top of the Premier League at Christmas. Considering a week ago we were thinking, it's going to be such a tight title race this year. Well, depending on the results, then they're going to be at least 3 points clear. And they look in sensational form. Now, it's easy to get carried away off a 7-0 win, but they've got players back from injury like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain today. Naby Keita got through the 90 minutes. It's just, you keep going on and on. So many positives. Both the fullbacks got assists. I could go on. It's a great result, a great game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Loads for us to get into. I'm not sure I've ever seen a game with so many quality goals. We're going to go through them individually very quickly in just a second. Obviously, we'll be here all night if we spend too long on each of them. But, Liverpool have been questioned at times for their away form. BT Sport on television in England put up the table without, home games being there. Liverpool are down in 16th, or they certainly were before this match. But Liverpool have just answered every single question that's been thrown at them today. And as you say, they've put themselves now, with players coming back, in a fantastic position to go into the Christmas period. The 3rd successive Christmas Day that they'll be top of the Premier League standings. There's just so many good things to come out of this in every single way.
It's always a strange one when you look at the away form, because as it has been for every single team in the division, since the first lockdown, it has been a strange time. In the end of last season, start of this season, no fans. There have been some freak results, and you can't really judge them the same way because every team has had 1 week. They'll put in a sensational performance, granted not quite 7-0, and then they'll go and put in a horrible performance and suffer a shock defeat. It's not just Liverpool. It's about getting the points that get you over the line when you need to. And whilst they haven't been getting the wins away from home, without them, they've still been top of the league, top 2 in the league for the majority of the campaign. They've kept the pace with Tottenham, and now they've overtaken them. If you think today this win has got the goal difference back ahead of Spurs, but if it hadn't been for a freak defeat at Aston Villa, it already would have been. It's just going to be these crazy results as you go along. And it was the perfect result. There are always going to be people that will bite on anything that you can use against Liverpool because they are so good and they have rewritten the rule book on what you expect a dominant team to be. They are just so good. And in a normal season, they'll probably be repeating what they've done last year and be miles clear at the top of the table. But now they're building the gap. They've got the players coming back from injury. They've got players finding form. And it's just full steam ahead. This will be the first week in ages where they don't have a midweek game. So now they get to enjoy the Christmas, knowing the top of the table with a full week in training. Jurgen Klopp might let them have a bit of a Christmas day off. We'll wait and see. But yeah, it's just a great game to be talking about going into this period.
Yeah, you mentioned the Takumi Minamino goal. He signed for Liverpool, actually, or at least it was announced a year ago today. Nice for him to mark his first Premier League goal on that occasion, of course. Seemed to take a lot of confidence from that. Sadio Mane as well. He hadn't scored in 9 Liverpool games before this match, but amidst a raft of really quality goals for Liverpool today, that finish from him, the turn, it was just so much good things to see from him. And hopefully Sadio Mane now can go on a little bit of a run as well, albeit there was a little bit of a tantrum as he came off the pitch in that second half.
Yeah, both players can be happy with the goals. They probably should have scored more, but it's been a long time coming for both of them. It's been an interesting time for Takumi Minamino, because I know he's had his critics where people haven't seen him be doing it enough or influencing games enough. But whenever I've seen him attack, when he's been in with what you'd seem to be Liverpool's first choice 11, I think he's looked good. He's done a solid job. He's always got the work rate. Recent weeks, we've seen him drop into midfield, and obviously he's not going to be able to get the goals the same way there, because it's more about the passing, the work rate, the pressing. Today, he was allowed to be unleashed in that attacking role, and it took him no time at all to get off the score sheet. And it was a really well-taken goal as well. The fact that the little touch to shrug past the defender, then to rifle it into the bottom corner, and hopefully that can be a big start for him. Now he's got that monkey off his back. He's a talented footballer. Liverpool wouldn't have signed him if he wasn't. He's shown glimpses, and now it's just a case of when you know he's going to get the opportunity, he can stand up and deliver. And for Sadio Mane, well, we mentioned it on the podcast yesterday, didn't we? He loves playing Crystal Palace. He loves going to Selhurst Park, and it was such another well-taken goal. Lovely pass from Roberto Firmino. Really good take, shrugging off his former teammate Nathaniel Klein, and then rifles it into the corner. Yeah, he's had his little tantrum when he's gone off. I think the commentators suggested it was because he was promised a bit more on the pitch. But when Liverpool 4-0 up, there's no need to put him on for too long. The game's done. He's got his goal. It's one of those where it's what you want to see from your players, isn't it? Like we see the same from Mohamed Salah. They're both serial winners. They both want to score as many goals as possible. They both want to play as often as possible. They don't tend to get injured that often. And you can see when it's a game like this, when you know you're going to get goals, any player would want to be on and get that opportunity to get more goals to their name, especially off the back of the drought. You want to see that passion, and it's not as though he's had a little hissy fit on the bench and snubbed Salah or snubbed Klopp when he's walked off. He's frustrated, he's shown his frustration, but he's greeted both of them, sat down, and whilst his bottom lip might have been out, he's enjoyed watching the second half. And we're not going to say he's going to be out the starting 11 next week. He'll probably be straight back in the starting team. He's got his goal, and he'll go and score a few more. Just winners, it's what you want in this Liverpool team, and it's great to see.
Yeah, Sadio Mane, the first Liverpool player to score in 7 consecutive matches against the same team since Ian Rush did so against Watford in the 1980s. So certainly a positive for him to take. Roberto Firmino as well, I think, was probably right up there in terms of the man of the match contenders. The third goal, absolutely sensational from him. A brilliant finish. He starts the move, he finishes it. Brilliant also from Andy Robertson, another assist from him. It's just an example, really, of so many different things that this Liverpool team do so well, and that counter-attack against a team like Crystal Palace, who are very, very resolute normally defensively, just sort of underlined how fluid and how much Roberto Firmino and the whole team's confidence really seem to have shot up over the last couple of weeks.
It's probably the best 1-2 you're ever going to see, isn't it? Such a well-worked goal for Firmino's first. It's one where you could just play a simple pass, couldn't you? But the fact that he's done this little outside of the foot half volley to Robertson, he's got the length of the pitch to run into. And what's so good about both Liverpool fullbacks, they're never sending in aimless crosses. There's always purpose. They always know where they're putting it, what they want to do with it. And you could see Roberto Firmino, as soon as he's played that through ball, he wants to get in the box. He knows Robertson's on the ball, and if there's a crossing opportunity, quality is going to come in. And it's not the fact that he's just got on the end of it. He's now taken a really good touch to controller, and it's a lovely finish to flick it past the keeper into the bottom corner. It was another game from Firmino where we saw him play with so much confidence compared to what you'd have seen a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. Obviously, that winner against Tottenham's done him the world of good, and he's playing with a smile on his face. He's got that cheekiness about him again. And the fact that you can say that with the second goal, looking at it, you don't know how he scored that because the keeper's rushing out and he's almost already got his hands on it. And he still managed to flick it out over him from an acute angle to get his brace. No tantrums from him when he went off, when I'm sure he'd have wanted a hat-trick. But yeah, it's just great to see Firmino with a smile on his face, finding form at such a crucial time of the season, because when he is on his day, like he was today, he is unplayable and he was probably deserved man of the match.
Yeah, very much so. Brilliant goal from Jordan Henderson. I think the fact that we're going to just brush over that and almost pretend that it didn't happen shows just how good he was today and how good Liverpool were as a team as well. But we do have to talk a little bit more about Mohamed Salah just before we finish. A comment came up on the screen just a second ago. He was on the pitch for 35 minutes or so. Got himself a couple of goals. Just absolutely sensational, that second one. But the first one as well, probably a little bit underrated in terms of the way that he anticipated where the ball was going to be.
Yeah, well, don't forget he got an assist as well, didn't he? He set up Firmino's second. But Mohamed Salah, he's always got that in his locker, both sorts of goals. Since joining Liverpool, he's got this real finisher's instinct, this knack of being in the right place at the right time and scoring every type of goal. He's in the right place to get on the end of that Joel Matip header. And as soon as he gets a good contact on it, there's only one place that's going because the keeper can't react anyway at all to keep that out. And it's just either wanted that goal as soon as he came on the pitch. He'll have been even more determined to when he knew he was on the bench. And the second one, it reminded me of his sensational goal against Chelsea a couple of seasons ago. We know that when it's on his left foot and he's got space in front of goal, he will put it in that top corner if you give him the opportunity to. And it just shows what he's about. But for me, the through ball for Firmino's was even better. He's weighted that perfectly, hasn't he? It's not just a case of through ball, so he's one-on-one. He's completely taken the defender out of the game and given it to Firmino in a position where it's telling him what to do to score this goal. And just to touch on Henderson as well, he loves the long ranger, doesn't he? Trent's got his assist from it. But yeah, it's a great finish, top corner. I'll happily watch all these goals again on loop. They're just every single one of them could be goal of the month. Liverpool going to have some competition, aren't they, when they're doing their own goal of the month competition in a week's time, 2 weeks' time. They'll be dominating the match of the day one as well. Sensational strikes from some sensational footballers.
Yeah, absolutely. All 7 absolutely superb goals. Liverpool now 6 points clear at the top as it stands. Manchester City have a tough game against Southampton as well. Tottenham play Leicester tomorrow. Theo, you'd say that Liverpool, with this win, potentially at the end of this weekend, could be in a very, very healthy position.
Even if the other results go the way of Spurs, they go the way of Manchester City, they're in a strong position anyway. When it's been so close since the start of the season, to have that breathing space now is crucial. It's a confident booster. And Liverpool have had all these injuries. They've had a few results where they've not been at the races and they're still in that position. That is going to be so demoralising for these other teams. We know the ability that Manchester City have. We know the talented players that they have. And they've still dropped points in silly games and they're quite a while off behind the Reds. And even if they've got these couple of games in hands, it's not going to be enough to get them back on top. And for Tottenham, well, they've been in the form of their lives. They've put in some great individual performances from Harry Kane and Son Heung-min. And it's not enough. They're still behind Liverpool. Leicester City, I think with them, it's always going to be a case of like it was last year. They've got the talent. They don't quite have the experience, even though they have won the Premier League a few years ago. They don't have that consistency to see out over a full season. So I wouldn't say they're title challengers as such. But the fact that that they're going to drop either Spurs or Leicester or both of them will drop points is a nice little boost for Liverpool, knowing that they are going to be in such a comfortable position. And now it's just looking ahead to every single one of the teams below them who consider themselves to be in this title race. What can you do? Because when Liverpool in this form, they take some stopping and it is just going to get better because that injury list is getting shorter and shorter. And the front 3, front 4, front 5, if you want to say when Yotta's back and Minamino, they look in the form of their lives. Whenever they're on the ball, they look like they're going to score and it's not going to stop anytime soon. This is Liverpool in a tough Premier League season showing that they are the best and you can't stop them when they're like this.
Yeah, certainly an early Christmas present for Liverpool fans and plenty to celebrate at this time of the year. That's all from us on the debrief this afternoon after another big win for Liverpool. Stay tuned across Blood Red for Jurgen Klopp's post-match press conference. That'll be on its way very shortly indeed. Plenty more reaction to come across Blood Red over the next week or so too, with some special Christmas content to follow before the Reds take on West Brom the day after Boxing Day. Until next time though, from myself, Matt Addison, and from Theo Squires, thank you for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye for now.
This is the Blood Red podcast from the Liverpool Echo.